I can't pre-read the long ones. That's too much reading. Now I wish I did. He is such a Hank fan. He swore he would not have sex with me until. All right, yeah. He is such a Hank fan. He swore he would not have sex with me until Hank guessed the lottery ball correct. Ha ha ha.
On today's Part of My Take, we have our college basketball preview with Mark Titus and a big, huge announcement with him. Go subscribe to his new show, Mark Titus Show, on YouTube and podcasts, and you can find it on social as well. Awesome time having him in studio. Also, part 2 will be on his YouTube on Thursday. We're going to do Hot Seat, Cool Throne, Guys on Chicks. We're officially in that no man's land between Super Bowl and the Combine and March Madness, but we have a great show for you, and it's brought to you by our friends at Barstool Sportsbook. Barstool exclusives, picks and parlays from Big Cat El Prez and other personalities to follow or fade. Tons of ways to bet. Daily odds boosts, live in-game bets, move the line plus teasers, and parlay plus to bet within same games or across sports. Easy to navigate and use. The data and content to keep you informed. Easy and secure registration. More ways to deposit and withdraw. And you can download today and use code TAKE to create an account. $1,000 new player bonus. If your first bet loses, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Use that code TAKE when you download the Barstool Sportsbook, and there's a $1,000 new play bonus. If your first bet loses, you get up to $1,000 in bonus cash on the Barstool Sportsbook. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Part of My Take. Today is Wednesday, February 22nd, and it's just 4 of us in the studio, boys. It feels a little empty.
Feels a little thin in here.
It feels a little empty. Jake and Billy are down in the DMV getting drunk, calling ESPN Plus PLL games.
What if Jake just went to the beer pong thing and then Billy showed up to call the games?
That would be a great funny. Freaky Friday.
There was a great post that Billy had when he was down. I'm going to look it up right now. He showed up to the lacrosse camp today, and he's down on field level. And I don't know if Billy wrote this or if it was a copy and paste job, but he said, talking about the new rules format for the Premier Lacrosse Championship Series with Paul Rabel, how it impacts players and on-field product.
Oh.
I think Billy's turned to a big J.
What happened? That's one of those prompts. What would be the tweet if you got kidnapped?
Yeah.
That's Billy's tweet right there. But yeah, it's a big show because we have a big announcement with our friend Mark Titus coming up. We're going to do a college basketball preview with him. Very excited about the future with Mark Titus. Mark Titus, I shouldn't ruin it all.
No.
But it's going to be awesome. So get excited. We're in college basketball zone. What else? I mean,
it's franchise tag season.
It's franchise tag season.
The tag season is officially open right now.
Nathan Peterman did not get tagged.
Okay, breaking news.
Yep.
The QB tag, I think, is what, 34 million, something around there.
Yeah, sure.
Ish. Daniel Jones fired his agent, getting a new agent. So now
Lamar
we're speculating what that could be. No, not her. But I think it means that he doesn't want to get tagged and that he wants mega bucks.
Ooh.
I heard the mega bucks number got thrown around the other day, that it's speculating that he might want upwards of like 45 million a year. I do too, for the record. I would like $45 million a year. Mm-hmm. And then Derek Carr is taking his free agency tour.
Yes.
Per David Carr, his brother, he might be his agent.
Yeah.
David said that Derek's going to enjoy this tour. He's going to go around, get wined and dined, make sure he finds a place that really wants him.
I actually had a source, shout out Mikey Betts. He sent me a picture of Derek Carr at dinner with Robert Salah and Nathaniel Hackett. And I saw the picture, and
that was also on Twitter.
It was on Twitter? Well, he sent it to me first, I'm going to credit him.
Okay.
Nathaniel Hackett's face, I'm sorry, but like something's going to have to happen for me to just wash off that stink. Because I saw him and I was like, there's a Broncos guy who didn't know how to use timeouts.
I mean, it's perfect. It's a great opportunity for him to change your look.
Yeah.
He's got to grow a beard.
He's got to get some tats, neck tats.
Oh, he'd look like a biker.
Yeah. He's got to maybe add. He's got to maybe change his name too. Maybe be Nate Hakovic or something. Be like he's from Serbia. I don't know. Like that. I would be in on that.
I think that Derek Carr should take his time on this because he's been through a lot in Las Vegas, and he needs to find a place where he feels welcome. I feel like I'm left out though because I'm getting all my Derek Carr news via David Carr because he blocks me on Twitter.
Yep.
Derek Carr is the new Big Ben. He blocks like everybody on Twitter apparently.
Yep.
But
you said he has herpes.
You did say he has herpes.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said he has herpes. Remember we found that out when we last talked about this?
Hope he doesn't have Michael Rappaport's lawyer.
Yeah. Well, no. Hope he does.
Yeah. Eat him for lunch.
Win shit. Yeah.
I've got some fan fiction that I've been working on. Hank, with your permission, my internet dad and I, Mike Florio, are kind of collabing on this one.
Great.
So there's been, we've seen all the Photoshops that are floating out all over the internet of Lamar Jackson in a Commander's uniform. It's been hot talk for a while. That kind of
sounds like an erotic one.
Yeah. Okay. So it went away for a little bit. Okay. Yeah. I was engaging myself. I was entertaining myself to keep myself in a good mood, thinking, okay, next year might not just be a total wash. Florio put out an interesting take, and I'm gonna build on it. Florio said he pulled a wind horse. He goes, why would Eric Bieniemy go to Washington, D.C.? Why would he leave Pat Mahomes and the opportunity to win multiple more Super Bowls, coaching maybe the greatest quarterback of all time in the history of the NFL, to go to Washington, D.C., where they're going into next year with a starting quarterback, Sam Howell, who's started precisely one game. Now, he did beat Hank's Cowboys, but he started one game, and there's a big uncertain future there in D.C. Why would he do something like that?
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you why. There might be a little deal behind the scenes with Ron Rivera telling Bieniemy, Lamar gets franchise tag. If it's non-exclusive, we're going to get Lamar. Now, okay, people are going to point at Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder's going to sell the team. What's going to happen in this offseason? Is he in a position where he's going to be able to give up all these assets? I would say that Dan Snyder, out of spite, just to fuck over the next owner, would love nothing more than to give those 2 first-round picks away, and on top of that, throw in a shitload of guaranteed money in a contract extension for Lamar Jackson, which would not only maybe fuck over the future owner, depending on how Lamar plays, but also, in the big fuck you, he would fuck over the rest of the owners in the NFL that don't want these guaranteed contracts to go to players. They got pissed off when Deshaun Watson got his.
Yep.
It would be a fuck you to those guys, while also opening the door for everybody to be like, thank you, Dan Snyder, if it pays off in the future. Like, look what Dan did for the team on the way out. This is the perfect exit. This is the perfect exit.
Hank has gone to his phone. I'm listening. I'm tuned in.
Dude, spot the flaw.
I'm tuned in. I don't see any flaws.
I don't think.
Wait. Play it back. What'd he say?
Dan Snyder. once he got to Dan Snyder being spiteful,
that is usually a point where you're like,
where
okay,
it's like he's not going to do that. He's just going to leave.
You don't think that Dan Snyder would love to stick it up the rest of the owner's ass on the way out?
He would.
How
do you think your
Lamar
buddy Jerry
Jackson?
Jones' picture got released?
By giving him how do you think John Gruden's emails got released? The man,
some of them.
He is spiteful. Yeah, one bad email got. The man is spite as a person. If you look up spite in the dictionary, you'd see first of all a picture of Hank looking grumpy, and then next to it Dan Snyder right behind him with his hand on his shoulder.
He literally is spiteful. He's an owner with a suicide vest right now.
Yes, and by giving Lamar Jackson huge guaranteed money, fully guaranteed in the contract, that would piss off the rest of the owners that just spent the last 2 years trying to get Dan Snyder out of the NFL.
Facts. Fact or fact.
But you're talking about a guy who notoriously never spends money on anything.
What, Hank? Are you fucking shitting me? Albert Haynesworth, Deion Sanders, Jeff George.
Should he go on?
The man loves
stadium renovations.
Don't make him go on.
Carson Wentz. The man loves spending. You're confusing Dan Snyder with the owner of the Bengals. Dan Snyder loves spending money on all the stupidest shit ever.
Shout out Zach Taylor, by the way, Ultimate Football guy. He said he'd have to be taken out in a casket from the Bengals. That was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. So I think
the Bieniemy thing makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah,
like you had me there
because it is suspect to say the least that Eric Bieniemy. I mean, I guess he is getting a a bump because he's officially the offensive coordinator, and he was, Andy Reid was calling a lot of the plays with the Chiefs, but still, it would be weird to take that job and be like Sam Howell.
He's in the
no
perfect
offense to Sam Howell,
the perfect scenario,
right,
for an offensive coordinator, and he's going to maybe the worst scenario as an offensive coordinator.
Where does Lamar live?
I was
He
just about to say I'm not a geography guy,
question.
but
he lives in Maryland.
Okay,
he's got
so
ties to the area.
But I'm saying, is his house close enough that he doesn't have to move?
It might be.
Wow.
Yeah. So what about that, Hank?
that makes sense too.
When we got Bieniemy, I was thinking to myself, like, this must be what Pete Davidson feels like all the time. Like, I have an ugly ass franchise, and now I've got the hottest thing on the block that's just moving into town. There's something weird going on there.
Interviewed 17 times.
That's true.
The hottest thing.
Well, that's another thing. He interviewed 17 times for other opportunities, some including offensive coordinator opportunities, but yet he wants this one.
Yeah,
true. I would not want this one. If I
were him.
Is Rivera on his way out? Is that like a
probably because we're going to get a new owner, so he's probably going to be fired.
Huh? Just connect some dots.
Hank, just let me dream, man.
Connect a few dots.
Let me have some optimism.
These are the dots we got to connect.
I hope Lamar Jackson's a Washington Commander.
We also should just. I know that was mean what you just did. It is crazy Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent.
Yeah,
it is crazy. I know, like, you can. I'm all for player empowerment, but I feel like he is probably losing out on opportunities without an agent.
Yeah, and the stuff that the agents do behind the scenes, like they can start to negotiate trades and things like that.
What team? He has no idea what team wants him.
Yeah,
I mean, every team should want him, but like, he doesn't know. It's just crazy. It just blows my mind. It's not a big enough story that Lamar Jackson is the first guy who is set to make insane amounts of money. Because you see it sometimes where guys won't have agents, but it will be a veteran who it's like, what you're going to make. Mm-hmm. It's not really. I think Bobby Wagner fired his agent. It's like, well, Bobby Wagner has been in the league forever.
I think Richard Sherman did that.
Yeah,
too.
Richard Sherman, but he did it, I think, later on when he was like, all right, I know what I'm going to make. I'm slotted in. Lamar Jackson could be making the most amount of money a quarterback has ever made. Yeah. Like, that's on the table, and he doesn't have an agent.
Yeah, he's just saying, give me what Deshaun got plus like $5 extra million a year.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So, yeah, I think all bets, like, you can't predict a guy who doesn't have an agent.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
Shit's going to get wild. All I'm saying is, remember who told you this before it happened. Remember who put out those fire photoshops.
I'll remember. Hank will remember. I'm rooting for you, PFT.
Thank you.
As someone who has a very exciting quarterback who sometimes gets called a running back.
Yep.
Join the party.
I'd love to. In exchange for that, I hope that Taylor Heineke signs with the Bears.
Yeah.
I'll trade you Taylor Heineke this offseason if I get Lamar Jackson.
Imagine if our football teams became good. Do you think people wouldn't like this show anymore?
Hank would quit.
I think there's a chance that people wouldn't like this show.
I agree with that 100%.
I think if like the Bears and the Commanders were both 13-4, people would be like, "Fuck these guys."
Let's be real. If the Bears and the Commanders were the two best teams in the NFL, people just wouldn't like the NFL anymore.
Yeah, that too. But they would. I think there would be an element because part of the allure of this show is we can make fun of everyone because we can make fun of our own team the most, which we do. If that's gone, like I'm looking in Hank's eyes, he's scared right now.
I hope you guys are successful. I always root for your success. I'm not a hater. I'm a lover.
You are a supporter. You are a lover. Hank the lover. All right, so other order of business because we have we're in this weird spot where we're going to Indy next week, so we're going to get some new interviews there. We have a great interview coming up with Mark Titus. We're going to also do a live full swing. Is that what it's called? Review maybe next week. Our good friend
not
Brooks,
just live.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's PGA and live. Our good friend Brooks Koepka, was texting him last night. He is down to come back on to talk about his episode, which PFT you haven't watched yet, but when you do,
I'm too focused on my own game right now.
It was very funny. He was wearing a Barstool Sports triggered sweatshirt for a full scene that I loved. I just loved that so much. But yeah, Brooks will come back on the show.
Say what you want about Brooks, but he doesn't have a media guy.
No,
there's nobody that's around Brooks being like, "Hey, maybe change that sweatshirt."
No, just said triggered for an entire extended scene with his mom, and it was awesome. I just fucking love the guy. But so we're gonna do that next week as well. Other things we got to talk about. Should we talk briefly about Alabama basketball?
That was on my hot seat.
Okay, well, wait for it. So then the other order of business I had, Max, I tasked you with finding an NCAA basketball team that you wanted me to put a future on. You said save it for the show because we had a car ride today, and we didn't talk about it. So would you like to tell the AWLs what your decision is? We should say we've already decided half of it's going to go on Max Homa.
Correct.
Half of it's going to go on Max Homa to win the Masters.
That'll be great.
Well, probably not because
it'll be great.
He'll blow it.
No.
He'll blow it.
I'm going all positive. I'm all positive with
Max.
Max. We have a good interview with Max coming out, and
Yeah.
we talked through some of the positive vibe stuff. I'm just going 100% positivity with Max.
Well-
we can do good cop, bad cop.
Well, I had a self-reflection after Sunday night show when I said he blew it, and I realized that the reason why I do that is just to get like Jake's reaction, because Jake loves Max and is the nicest guy in the world. So when I'm like, yeah, Max blew it, and Jake's like, oh, how could you say that? I'm pretty much just doing it. It's an audience of one. So I actually told Max, I was like, listen, it's nothing personal. I just want to see Jake squirm when I say that you blow the fucking Genesis Open.
Yeah.
Because he blew it.
He did.
Choke artist.
No, I think he blew it too.
Rob got that
He's going to win the
Mickey
Masters,
Mouse
so
drop.
it's fine. I mean, he couldn't get out of that bunker. It was
Yeah, he
insane.
couldn't.
Yeah,
He couldn't get out of the bunker.
He couldn't get
drop
out.
It was
Rom
over.
got
Anyone
It
could
was
get out of the
over
bunker.
at that point.
I could get out of that bunker.
Yeah.
That's what Hitler
He
thought
still
too.
parred the hole.
What?
He parred that hole.
He did. Max, lay it on us.
My team, okay. I normally am a very big college basketball guy. Villanova's really bad this year, and it's one of
Max,
those things.
Sports Town?
Huh? No, I watch every Villanova game, but it makes me so angry that I don't watch any other college basketball.
Okay.
Because watching good teams makes me angry because my team is normally very good, and right now they're really bad and really frustrating. That being said, I obviously got sent all of the Ken Pom stuff of like you have to have this team of this top 30 or whatever
It's like
ranking.
top 40 offense, top 22 defense.
I got that. People sent me that a million times thinking that they're the only person who knows that stat.
Thank you to everybody that tried
Yeah.
to help Max.
Thank you for all those people.
That's a weird way of saying
So granted, I am listening to those people because I am picking one of those teams.
But you're mad about it.
No, yeah, whatever. I'm just saying.
All right.
You're still in a rough patch. You're going on vacation in 12 hours.
I am so excited to go on vacation.
No one has deserved
Hell
a
yeah.
vacation more than you.
Yep.
Agreed.
I want you to turn off your phone. Don't even worry about us. We won't talk about you.
I'm whatever. So I'm going with the UCLA Bruins.
Okay,
Okay.
nice. I got a future
Yep.
on them too.
Yep.
Let's go.
Mostly because Tiger Campbell and Jaime Jaquez are still on the teams. There's two guys that I know. Tiger Campbell has really sick hair. Jaime Jaquez is very fun to say.
And Mick Cronin, friend of the show.
And Mick Cronin, friend of the show. So yeah, let's go Bruins.
Let's go,
I,
Bruins.
I love
Go
rooting for
Bruins.
Mick Cronin. The story behind him being like the fourth or fifth choice to go to UCLA and then going out there and be like, yeah, you know what? I know I wasn't the first choice. I'm still going to stick two middle fingers up the rest of the Pac-12's ass. I love it. I love that he's done that.
Yeah. All right. Let's go Bruins.
Great colors too.
Yeah.
Everything
classic,
about them.
Everything.
Love UCLA. Let's
Does
go
it
Bruins.
make you a little nervous that I did have a future on them last year?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you got to. What about? No, you were wrong about Villanova, and then right about Villanova. Never mind.
Yeah, then I
Never
was
mind.
right. Yeah.
Never mind.
I also, in this car ride that Max and I took, there was a moment where I told him, I was like, a part of me wants to just put a stupid amount of money on the Eagles and be like unfinished business and just put them through torture again. I'm not going to do it.
I said that would
but
be mean.
a part of me wants to do that.
still think
I'm not
eventually-
going to. I'm not going to.
I don't believe you. I think eventually
But
you
just be
will.
like a painful amount of money and just be like unfinished business. You better fucking do it this time.
I'm just curious now because so we're all invested in UCLA.
Yeah.
We're a UCLA podcast.
Yeah, we are.
What is Hank going to do? Because it's not going to be UCLA.
Let's do a group bet.
Yeah, I like UCLA.
Let's fucking get
You
it
wanna get
going
in on
with
it?
Yeah.
Mick Cronin and
I had
the
a
boys.
family friend that was a team manager on the Final Four team back in the day.
Okay.
He sent me a bunch of free shit when I was in high school, so I always wore it.
Let's
I
fucking
like
go.
UCLA.
Okay, UCLA.
I
Let's
didn't
go.
go to college. I don't have a college team.
Yeah. Well,
Hell yeah.
What?
Duke,
Well, no, I mean, Northern New Hampshire or whatever.
Southern New Hampshire,
Southern New
University.
Hampshire.
Northern New Hampshire's just
Come on,
Canada.
the
dude.
Penn Men.
All right. So what else? Anything else before we do hot seat, cool throne? There's not.
New Hampshire's-
what?
Northern New Hampshire's Canada. That
Yeah,
one
it
took
is.
a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, geography.
That's simple geography.
It wasn't even a joke.
That
It was
was
just
a statement.
looking
of
at a
fact.
map.
I just,
Yeah, it's right there.
sometimes it takes me a second.
Just touching it.
Yeah.
It's right there. Yeah, this is. I mean, NBA's in break. They shouldn't have this long of a break. Come back and play.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Come on. Stephen A. Smith
give me
did say
something.
LeBron James ruined the dunk contest, which I liked
How?
by not participating.
I like that.
Ever. Well, it's
Yeah.
true.
How many times has the dunk contest been saved? It gets saved every 3 years.
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon.
Well, Zach LaVine.
Dwight Howard saved it.
Vince Carter saved it.
Vince Carter.
Nate
Isaiah
Robinson.
Ryder saved it
when
when
for
he did
sure.
the in between the legs.
Harold
MJ saved it.
Harold
MJ
Miner
made it.
Harold Miner saved it
Yep.
1 year.
It's been saved.
Birdman saved it.
Birdman saved it. We said Nate Robinson, right? He definitely
Yeah,
saved
he
it.
saved it too.
Yeah, it has been saved a lot.
Gerald Green.
No, Nate Robinson was bullshit. He should have lost to Andre Iguodala in that.
Oh,
I mean, he missed like
there's a
30.
take.
Well, he missed like 32 dunks in a row, and then still won.
Praying
that
for
was
Nate Robinson.
That was the biggest NBA rig thing of all time. I remember as
5'9".
a little child, Andre Iguodala absolutely dominated that dunk contest, and Nate Robinson missed 32 dunks in a row and still won.
Well, AI should have been dunking on like a 12-foot hoop to make it equal to what Nate Robinson was doing.
Yeah, whatever.
I like this. Like, what do we talk about in mid-February? How Nate Robinson shouldn't have won the dunk contest in whatever 2008 or
Oh, wait.
something. What was it? Yeah,
So Max is upset because a Philly guy finished in second place in a big event. Sounds like to me.
yeah. That's kind of your thing.
Mac McClung just won, so
That's true.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
also seeing a lot of Sixers takes being like Mac McClung should be getting more minutes.
Yeah.
I like Mac McClung. I love his story, but when he does start getting minutes and teams just pick on him, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, okay. One last thing about NBA. Did you guys see that they now have player AIs? Luka's AI. So they unveiled it. Adam Silver, Ahmad Rashad, who we should do a deep dive on Ahmad Rashad. Like, he has the greatest career ever just being like best friends with Michael Jordan.
He's the Jim Gray of the NBA.
It's incredible. I was like, Ahmad Rashad's still doing shit. I did love watching Inside Stuff when I was a kid. That was the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. But it was just, it's like a Luka AI, and I guess they're doing it for players now. Essentially, I think the NBA is like, remember Top Shot?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, let's try this instead.
Uh-huh.
And it was just a big Luka on a screen. It felt like a Apple reveal or Elon Musk. It was Luka talking to Luka. It was wild.
That does sound wild.
So I don't know what they're going to do with the Luka AI.
I want to see Jokic's brothers in AI.
Yeah.
That's right. Or JaVale McGee AI would be. I don't think that
That would
we.
be sick,
I don't
too.
think that we have the level of programming necessary to figure out all those decision trees. But
Yes.
it would be fun.
Yes. So Luka AI, get ready for NBA AI. Again, I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Oh, big NBA news. Big Cat.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations on getting Pat Bev.
Pat Bev. Pat Bev. Uh-oh. You had
cool
that?
throw.
Yeah, Pat Bev coming home to Chicago. It's going to be I don't know what the Bulls are doing.
It's going to be fun.
They should tank.
I kind of like the idea of if your team's not going to do anything, get an absolute wild card.
Yeah,
He's going to
yeah.
make the rest of the season fun.
That part I'm all in on. I like watching Pat Bev compete. But yeah, the Bulls should, like, they are, I think, in the 12th spot right now or something, and they stink. They have somehow found a way to be like, you know how everyone shoots threes now? The Bulls are the worst three. I saw a stat. It was like the last month they're shooting 25% from three. That's really hard to do in the NBA.
That's tough. That's very tough.
really fucking hard
Respect.
to do. So they suck. They should tank, but I agree. Make the Bulls fun with Pat Bev.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Roan, Pat Bev and Roan pod. Maybe the Bulls sign him to a deal, long-term deal, 3 years. He's looking for 3 years, $30 million. Make it happen.
Do it.
Why not? Like, at least if you're gonna suck, be fun.
Yep.
And be fun with Pat Bev. Okay, let's do hot seat, cool throne, and then we will get to Mark Titus and talk some more college basketball. Before we do that, the UEFA Champions League on Paramount Plus is where you can catch Messi and Mbappe, the legendary showstoppers from the greatest World Cup final ever, together on the same team. Champions League is the absolute best. The two superstars reunite on PSG to tear it up in soccer's greatest yearly club tournament, but the competition is fierce. All the top teams across Europe, from Manchester to Madrid, are vying for the title, as the world's best players take center stage. So stream every UEFA Champions League match live exclusively on Paramount Plus from the round of 16 all the way through the final in June. If you don't watch the UEFA League, you're crazy. The Champions League is so much fun to watch. Middle of the week, it's a Tuesday, Wednesday. It's the middle of the day. It's a perfect time to pop open Paramount Plus and stream some UEFA Champions League. Paramount Plus is your streaming home for the Champions League. Start your free trial at ParamountPlus.com/live sports. Check it out now. Again, starts from the round of 16 all the way through the final in June. Paramount Plus, UEFA Champions League. Get excited. There's nothing better than Champions League soccer. Hot seat, cool throne. Hank.
My hot seat is Brandon Miller.
Who's that?
He's an Alabama basketball player.
Oh, I know who that is.
He's a projected lottery round pick.
Not anymore.
Well,
No, he will still be a lottery pick.
yeah, I don't think it matters. It sounds like it's bad,
No, it is bad.
but he was involved in the fatal shooting in Alabama.
I guess
Darius
actually
Miles.
Pietzi's right. He might go to jail. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's. I don't think I'm way out of bounds to say he might not get
No,
drafted.
I was saying more that like any team would be like he's talented, so
Yes.
who cares?
Darius Miles committed murder. He's an Alabama basketball player. He texted Brandon Miller the day of to bring him the gun that he used to commit the murder. Brandon Miller brought the gun to him, texted him, and said, "The heat is in the hat," and then texted him, "There's one in the head," which means there's a bullet in the chamber.
That's cap.
Jeez.
So that all came out today, and then Nate Oats, his response to that, said, "We knew about that. Can't control everything everybody does outside of practice. Nobody knew that was going to happen. College kids are out. Brandon hasn't been in any type of trouble, nor is he in any type of trouble in this case. Wrong spot at the wrong time."
Ooh.
You don't have to control everything that they do outside of practice, but maybe not committing murder would be one thing that you could focus on.
Yeah, and wrong spot in the wrong time feels like the wrong way to describe this situation.
Right, it wasn't a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not great, I would say.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm not a legal guy, but I actually don't, like, is he an accomplice in this situation?
To hand somebody a loaded gun and
Yeah.
say, "Yeah, here's that gun that you wanted."
Yeah.
I think that's
if
probably
it's his
illegal.
gun, yeah, and it's a murder weapon, I think that might be a
Well,
problem.
I don't know what the Alabama gun laws are
True.
because some places, like in Texas, you can just give somebody a gun.
Right. He didn't know he was going to commit a murder with it, allegedly.
I'm pretty sure that it's illegal. I'm going to go out on a limb. All of my two Second Amendment people out there might correct me. I'm pretty sure it's illegal to just give somebody a gun that ends up getting used in a murder.
Yeah. It's not good. It's at base level, not good. At
Wrong place, wrong time.
wrong place, wrong time. Can't control everything everybody does outside of practice.
Not everything.
That's what a wild way to describe that. Nate Oats, it's pretty easy to be like, yeah, this is a really bad situation. We're looking into it.
Did he do-
No further comment.
He pretty much said boys will be boys.
Yeah.
When it came to
Yeah.
a murder.
Yeah, look,
College.
what college kids outside of practice.
You remember college.
Yeah,
I do, yeah.
Yeah, just handing guns around, having them end up in murders. Again, no murders happened during Alabama practice.
I bet you he told them
That's
yeah.
pretty much Nate Oates' defense.
It's true,
He's
yeah.
like, as far as I saw while we were practicing, no one was shot and killed.
Yeah, what do you want from me?
What the fuck? This is a wild story. It is.
It's a very sad
It's
story.
a very sad story.
Because I think it was like a single mother got shot.
Incredibly sad and tragic, but it goes back to this goes to every single college coach. Whenever there's a bad situation, they are so quickly to pretend like they are ignorant to what their players are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these are college coaches who, in football and basketball, are literally the kings of their little college town, and they know everything about everyone, and they know all the police, and they know what all their players are doing at all times, and they're, by nature, to get to the level of being a Division I big conference college coach in football or basketball, you have to be a psycho micromanager, like down to every detail. And then a murder happens, you're like, well, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's
Crazy.
Also, if you were to ever participate in a murder, probably the last thing that you would do would be to just text the person Here's the gun.
Crazy. Very, very sad story. But yeah, Nate Oats, not a great answer, I would say.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Then
We're UCLA guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, go Bees.
Yeah.
I might
go
do a
Bees.
double Bruins future.
Oh,
Oh,
look at that.
I like that.
The year of the Bruin.
Be up.
Bear up.
Okay.
I'm cool throwing with Chicago. We're moving there now. The Super Bowl's over. I'm very much locked in, starting to look at places, getting excited, and then our coworker Pat Beverly's beating us to the spot.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Mark Titus, who we'll talk to in a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah. And we're gonna get a boat.
multiple.
Multiple boats.
Yeah, it's got a fleet.
You want to get a fleet of
Dude,
boats?
we're talking fleet now?
I'm down.
I wasn't down until he said fleet. Imagine not having a fleet. Imagine rolling out onto the Lake Dolo, and then you see a fleet come up to you.
The Playpen. I heard a lot about that place.
Yeah. Very fun time.
A lot of great golf there.
There's a lot of great golf courses that are very quick to get to, that are a lot easier than to get to in New York. There's also one thing that about the move that I keep bringing up to Max, and he gets upset every single time I bring it up. We're, as a podcast, going to run a 5K in the fall.
Yeah.
And Max gets upset every time I bring it up.
You just bring it up way too often.
Well,
for something
because I know
that's-
how
it's not
upset
gonna
it
happen
makes
for
you.
so long.
So we're going to run the Pause Chicago, because I think, PFT, you might, I don't want to speak out of turn, but you might be thinking about adopting a dog at some point.
Yeah, I am thinking about adopting a dog.
And same with you, Hank.
I'm already shopping for dogs.
Oh, Hank's
Yeah.
more of a cat guy?
No, I've been thinking about it, but I'm also I am very committed to golf, and I just don't. I don't want to get in the way of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
So,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard. A dog as a single parent is tough. It's a
Yeah,
big
that is
commitment.
tough. That
Golf
is-
is also a big commitment.
yeah.
There's some
a lot
courses-
of commitments you got there.
I know.
You can bring the
and
dog.
golf.
You can bring the dog out onto the golf course.
Talk about a full schedule. Dogs and golf.
Dogs are not very vacation
I
friendly.
mean, it's not.
animals.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? And
No,
vacation.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're on vacation. Yeah. But
Yeah.
but Pause
Really interferes
Chicago.
with a lot of your life now. Now that they mention it.
Pause Chicago, where I
booked up.
adopted Stella, and I work with them with Stella Blue Coffee. They have a 5K, and we're gonna run it. And I thought it would be fun if, when we get to the 5K, we draw straws to see who doesn't have to run it and who can videotape it instead.
I might have a marathon that day.
Okay.
I'll get
if
back
you
to
if
you.
you have a marathon, that trumps a 5K.
Okay.
But I just want to see Max running a 5K. Talk about a bad guy.
Oh, there would be so many breaks.
Oh, isn't 5K like 3 miles?
Yeah,
Yeah.
3.1.
I couldn't
Nothing.
run a 5K when I was in the middle of playing college sports.
Well, you baseball.
Correct.
For one
Yeah.
season.
First base.
I was on the team for 2 seasons and redshirted one.
Okay.
You think David Ortiz is out there running 5Ks?
They have red shirts at Hofstra?
But, yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you hit dingers. How many?
3 and 52 at bats.
That's fucking legit. Having
OPS, great OPS.
Having 3 college baseball home runs is something that I would dream about every day when I close my eyes. That's fucking Max deserves credit for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And we could tell you're a college baseball player from your golf swing.
Yeah. That's on brand for college baseball for sure. Everyone was roasting
I played fall
me.
ball at Southern New Hampshire.
Yeah. Also,
Same
I thought
thing.
it was Northern New Hampshire.
Southern New Hampshire.
I thought it was Northern New Hampshire.
What was, you mean Canada?
Hank? All right, your hot seat will throw a BFT.
My hot seat is beer.
Oh.
Putting beer on the hot seat because at the Chiefs parade, a couple players got a little inebriated.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes had a couple Coors Lights. There was another guy that got wheeled out on a wheelchair because he was so drunk.
Love that.
And there are some people who are upset about it. Namely, Janet Hinsel in Liberty, Missouri, wrote into the local paper complaining about it, said that Andy Reid should have prohibited alcohol during the parade, which Hinsel said looked like a college fraternity beer bust. I don't know what a beer bust. I think she just means party. Just means a frat party. She said if the Chiefs cannot go a few hours without alcohol, the organization has a problem. I, for one, was sickened to see this for the second time. Some Chiefs even bragged on social media about how drunk they were afterwards. No doubt this spectacle made the news in other cities. So
this is amazing.
So Janet wants no beer at the parade to celebrate winning a Super Bowl. And then beer is on the hot seat as well because in D.C. this weekend at the D.C. Defenders game, they marketed the beer snake.
Yep.
They were leaning into the beer snake. We made several of those beer snakes at the old XFL games back in 2020, and it was like a thing that the team was doing as a tradition. The fans were making beer snakes, and leading into this game, They even advertised beer snake packages where you could get multiple beers.
That's sick.
So they made a beer snake in the game, and they confiscated it. They removed the beer snake immediately. That's why fans threw all those lemons onto the field.
Love that.
Where did where that's what I don't get.
You don't walk around with a lemon in your pocket?
Right.
Well,
No.
they sell some mixed drinks
I
at
wish
the games.
I had a lemon right now. I'd just chuck it at your face. Oh.
They have half lemons in them in the bottom of the drinks. So that's what everybody was drinking, or a lot of people were drinking.
Got it.
They threw it on the field.
Full ass lemons.
They need to figure that shit out because you can't advertise a pro beer snake environment and then remove the snake.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Facts.
So they got to figure that shit out in DC because there's going to be a revolution.
Yeah. Agreed.
My cool throne is USA Rugby.
Oh.
It's Los Angeles Sevens this weekend in the World Series of Rugby. It's the HSBC Sevens coming to Los Angeles, and the U.S. is 2 points out of third place.
Whoa.
So with a good result.
We're regressing.
No, if we have a good showing this weekend, we end up in third place. Maybe even second place.
I thought we were a second place team.
We're doing. It's still early.
Okay.
It's still early. So out in L.A., go to the party, go to the games. Las Vegas Sevens was one of the best times that I've ever had. It's just a giant party. People from all over the world there cheering on their teams. We are in the
Better
group
than
of
Hong
death.
Kong?
In different ways. You get hit with less piss in Las Vegas, but there's more dancing. And we're in the group of death. We play Samoa at 4:30, New Zealand at 7, and then Samoa at 1, New Zealand at 4:30, Chile at 7, and we got some good guys on the team this year. Some AWLs are playing on the team.
Love it.
Go out there if you're in LA. Support the lads.
Let's go, lads. All right, my hot seat is Terry Francona. I don't know if you guys saw this story, but it was quite funny. Terry Francona has been a manager in the big leagues he's been in a dugout for 32 years, and he has been 44 years. He's been involved in professional baseball. It's the 11th year with the Guardians. Turns out Terry Francona gets nervous too. So this is a tweet from Zach Meisel. Terry Francona gave his annual team speech. He was so nervous he was drenched in sweat. He declined dinner with coaches last night so he could make edits. He made pasta, but it didn't fully cook and broke his tooth. He arrived at camp at 3:30 a.m. and spilled coffee all over the speech. This is like he's basically Kevin Malone in The Office.
I was going to say it sounds like the way Mr. Bean would prepare for a pre-game speech.
Shut up, Mr. Bean. What a legend. But it's just Terry Francona is a legend and all-time baseball guy.
Baseball lifer.
And he gets nervous before the preseason speech too.
My favorite thing about Terry Francona is the big wad of chew that he does.
Yeah.
He mixes bubble gum and chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
And he invents a new, it's kind of like barbacuffalo sauce. He puts it in his cheek and spits it. You always see him like in the dugout. He basically stands in a puddle of his own spit. But I love Terry Francona. He's all-time baseball guy.
All-time baseball guy. All right, my cool throne, 2 cool thrones. One, Jake is down in DMV, like we said. He's calling the PLL on ESPN Plus on Thursday, I believe. So tune in. If you don't, you're a scumbag. And then also, you see these shirts we're wearing. St. Patrick's Day is coming up, and we've made it easy for you to find green outfits this year. The PMT St. Patrick's Day merch is out.
What's on your shirt?
What is on my shirt, PFT? Tell me.
Oh, it says pot of gold, and it's me and you inside a giant cauldron with lottery balls, and then we're having a great time. And Hank is sulking in the background because I don't know why he's sulking.
Why aren't you wearing this, Hank? You don't want to put on a shirt? You want to put on the shirt?
I didn't want to steal your valor.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, go to store.barstoolsports.com to shop our St. Patrick's Day collection. Check it out now. We got all the shirts, and including the insult shirt of Hank Lockwood and how he can't get the lottery ball.
It is an insult shirt.
It is.
Pilar, one of the women that works on the merch team, was like, "Oh, this shirt's live, featuring the lottery balls that Hank's never got." Ha ha.
Haha.
Sounds like a pretty normal joke amongst coworkers.
Yeah, that is. That sounds like a very.
Sounds like
joke.
you're being a little sensitive.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, well, we'll find out at the end of the show if you get the lottery ball. Let's get to Mark Titus and the big announcement and our college basketball preview on February 21st.
Before we get to Titus, I want to talk to you about part of my cheesesteak. It's a delivery and pickup only restaurant brand that brings you craveable cheesesteaks and loaded fries. Since launching in August, we are now live in 695 locations across 43 states with new locations added every single week. My favorite cheesesteak order, I like the Chipotle cheesesteak. I like it a little bit Billy style. Put a little hot sauce on there. Get lunch, dinner, or late night delivery. We're open 7 days a week. The brownie bites are awesome too. Get some brownie bites. Thank me later. Go to pardonmycheesesteak.com to learn more. Order now on DoorDash, UberEats, Postmates, or Grubhub. And now, here's Mark Titus.
Okay, we now welcome on a very, very special guest.
Two varies.
Very, very. You let me finish.
Very, very special coworker.
Yeah, colleague.
Uh-huh.
It is Mark Titus. If you have seen the announcement video that he posted on Twitter this morning, he is now a Barstool Sports employee.
It feels very weird.
Welcome aboard, Mark.
Yeah!
We've been courting you for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
On this show. I went back and I looked at our DMs the first time that you came on the show. And it was destiny from that point on.
The whole reason I came on the show in the first place was I wanted to see the man behind the PFT Commenter Twitter account. I'll never forget this. You asked me, I started this new podcast at Barstool called Pardon My Take. How many shows have you done at that point? Like 3?
2 or
4?
3 shows.
Yeah, it
because
was very
right.
early.
We got started March 1st.
And I had been following you, PFT, forever, and I thought the whole time I was following you, I thought you were literally taking comments from Mike Florio's blogs and just copying and pasting them onto Twitter. Uh-huh. So I was like, this is definitely a funny account, but I don't really think I fully get it. Mm-hmm. And then like about a month before you DM me, I finally like understood that there was like a man behind this. This was not just somebody copying and pasting the best comments of PFT's blogs. And I was like, I gotta see who this guy is. And then you told me like we were gonna do it over Zoom, and I was like, all right, I'll do it. I don't think this show's going anywhere, but I'll like if nothing else, I'll get to see who the guy is running this account.
Yeah. You're the guy who sold Apple stock.
Yeah. Surprise! I'm a white guy.
And then now I think you guys are my boss. Is that how this works?
No.
Hank's my boss.
Yeah, Hank is your boss. Hank is your boss. But this is very exciting. A long courting, a lot of we did big steak dinners. We
flirted for a while.
We put his number up in on the jumbotron. Like he got game. We're like, could you see yourself here? But this is very exciting. He has a new podcast that's going to be on Barstool Sports called the Mark Titus Show.
Yeah, great title, right?
Yeah, Mark Titus Show. So we're going to do a 2-parter today about college basketball. The second part will be on his YouTube. Everyone go subscribe. If you don't subscribe, you're a scumbag. All AWLs, please subscribe. We already were talking PFT before you got here that when all right. So the big news is Mark is moving to Chicago as well. So he's gonna be in the mix.
Yep.
I'm so excited for this. You're gonna be in the mix every day.
I'm not, because Mark he's gotten too handsome.
He is.
We don't need.
That's LA Mark.
We don't need your handsome face.
That's LA Mark.
That's Marina Del Rey Mark.
Fat Titus is coming back.
Midwest Mark is coming back, dude.
Oh, he's coming back.
I like it. Enchilada Mark.
Yeah.
The mustache is. You've got like when you slick your hair back. I saw you at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Your hair slicked back. The mustache was out.
Yeah.
You looked like the handsomest version of John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah. Your jaw is just chiseled.
I don't know what happened. I moved by the beach, and I started eating kale salads. But yeah, the dream is dead. I am going back home where I belong in the Midwest. I am excited for it, man. That is one of the big reasons why. Like I think 3 years ago when I left the Ringer, I wanted. Part of me wanted to come here, but there's no world in which I would ever live in New York.
Right. And I remember that. We were courting you then.
Yeah. And the new Chicago deal, I was like, this makes too much sense.
Yeah.
So, I'm fired up about it.
With a basketball court, which you're just going to dominate us on. So, PFT, we were talking about ways to get new subscribers to the Mark Titus Show on YouTube. Everyone go subscribe right now. Stop what you're doing right now and subscribe. Part 2 will be on there. But we were saying that when we get to the new office in Chicago, we're going to – I think Mark scored over 1,000 points in high school, and we're just going to do a stream where me, you, and Hank all have to get over 1,000 points without shooting in the paint, and we'll just be a subscribe-a-thon on his YouTube.
Wait, is he going to play defense? You going to play defense?
No, it's just us shooting for I'll go – and it'll take like 2 hours, then you'll go, take 2 hours, then Hank will go.
See how long it takes you to score 1,000 points.
Yeah,
I like that. That's a great idea, because I actually had an idea of something that we could do in Chicago as well. I've never had a stroke. Never had a stroke in basketball.
Jesus.
I thought you were
Jesus.
talking
I was like,
about,
dude, what the fuck?
I was like, same.
No. I was talking about health.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about your health too.
Like, you never had a stroke health-wise.
I guess bonk on me.
Yeah, put that on the list. Hank.
I've also never had a stroke health-wise, but I've always wanted to be able to shoot a jump shot because I can dribble the ball.
Okay.
I'm not slow. I'm a decent passer. Hank's saying Hank's doing this.
Anyone can dribble a basketball.
Okay, well, I look like a point guard is the thing. I'm short.
No,
That's all I've got
yeah.
going for me. I'm short. I'll never be able to dunk with two hands, but I've always wanted to get a stroke. Could you teach me? I was thinking like a good video series could be Make Me Wet, Mark Titus.
Yeah.
Where you just teach me how to just get wet. Could you make me wet?
Can my stroke make you wet?
Yeah,
Is the question.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually think I could. I
Yeah.
actually think I could. I think if there's one thing I could teach in this world, it's how to shoot a basketball.
And this,
So-
and it's gonna suck for us because you are very good at basketball. And
No,
there's gonna be a
I've-
basketball court.
I'm not, but compared, I've seen you guys play. And Dan, last time I was here though, I told everybody you're better than I thought
Thank
you would
you.
be.
Yeah, we
and I
played-
stand by that. You are better than I thought you'd be.
We played and we went through a workout, and I've told Hank this, I think, because Hank was like, "Is he really that good?" Like, and we went through a workout. The first 10 minutes, I think Mark probably, I don't know, shot like 30%, like bricking everything,
Had to calibrate it.
and then he hit one shot, and he didn't miss for 50 minutes straight. Like literally did not miss, 3-pointers, everything for 50 minutes straight, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it." Like that's the difference between just like random dudes who like play like little pickup basketball and you.
I can teach you though. You just have to. We'll start by you have to find your spot on the floor. Just find like the one spot where you're like, I will not miss from here.
I'm an elbow guy.
I think
Yeah.
your elbow extended.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
Yeah,
that.
elbow
But those are
extended.
inefficient shots.
No, not for you.
No, yeah,
You're
that's
DeMar
fine.
DeRozan.
Okay,
Yeah.
elbow. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
bringing back the lost art
Yeah.
of the mid-range jump shot.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yes.
start there. Then I think we can do it. We have time.
Yeah.
We'll be able to handle it.
You know what?
I think.
My parents actually met because my dad was a pretty good basketball player back in the day. He played at GW, and he was in the gym, and he was shooting foul shots, and he hit 97 foul shots out of 100. My mom saw him
shit.
like through the window to the gym, and she was like, "I have to have
I
that.
have to have that.
Steph Curry.
He's so wet. I need that man."
That's Steph Curry right there. But this is very exciting. Like I am so excited for you to be here at Barstool.
Yeah.
Moving to Chicago. You're gonna be with us throughout March Madness. You're
Yep.
gonna come out to New York. We'll have you on a bunch of times. The new Mark Titus Show. It's gonna be awesome. The one thing that people are probably listening right now and they're like, "Hey, what happened to his co-host?" Well, Mark will talk about his path to Barstool and everything, the decision behind it on his new podcast. Which first episode Selection Sunday?
No, we're gonna put the first out. I think March 6th.
Oh, yeah,
Monday.
Championship Sunday.
We're gonna do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, all through the rest of March.
What?
Good
I know.
weeks.
Huh?
Yeah, that's good. Good
Yeah,
days
because
of the week.
there's a big.
Huh? All right,
not a lot of
episode's
great
over.
not a lot of great podcasts come out. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. Yeah, I mean, people want to know. I guess I don't know why they want to know, but there's not really much of us. But I'll go
pump
through
it up.
everything.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, all right,
You
all
got
right,
all the
right.
dirt.
Yeah.
All right, all the dirt.
Yeah.
I'll tell all.
Yeah, the juiciest episode
Listen,
of Mark Titus podcast
when-
ever.
Yeah,
Yes.
when we pump it up and we say it's salacious and all this stuff, and then people tune in and you're like, yeah, me and Tate are still friends. That doesn't matter because
Yeah.
they still listen.
Yeah, yes,
So that's
exactly.
that's the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll
Yes.
never believe why we broke
You'll never
up.
believe.
Yeah,
You'll
we'll
never
have that
believe.
be the 10 reasons
what?
why Tate and Titus broke up. So March 7th that would be right. No,
March 6th. Monday, March 6th.
March
Monday, March 6th.
So
Yeah.
that'll be the start of championship week. He'll be here. Like I
Yep.
said, we're going. I don't think we've announced this, but I'll announce it right now. For the first part of the tournament, we are going to be visiting some Penn properties in Ohio, and it worked. It was serendipitous. We'll be in Columbus.
Oh, we'll be in Columbus.
We'll be in Columbus.
I
I wonder
wonder
if you've ever been there.
Will the Buckeyes be playing an NIT game
Oh,
at
let's-
home?
yeah.
While we're there?
Oh,
NIT favorites.
Maybe I'll swing over and
CBI.
You got to
check
get
out a CBI game.
You should get NIT Stu on your podcast.
I
to
love
ju-
that guy.
To break
I'm-
down the NIT.
Yes.
I met him in Austin, Texas. I want to say.
Yeah.
Is he from Austin?
Yeah.
Is he, yeah.
He came up to me in a bar with an envelope filled with blogs that he had printed out.
Love it.
And they were all about the NIT.
I want to say I won the NIT. Me personally.
Really?
In 2008, we won the NIT the year after we went to the national championship game.
Oh, damn.
And I think when I met NIT Stu, he brought like a like a lamb. There was something. There was like the NIT logo, obviously, and then I think it said like 2008 champion, and he asked me to sign it.
Do you have a ring?
I said, I have a watch. They have. I have like a watch that they got from like Dick's Sporting Goods for like $70 probably.
We need to get you like
NIT champion on it.
Like every year. No, for when they have the NIT championship, Madison Square Garden, like Mark Titus comes out center court being like, and champions in the past.
Yeah, welcome back to champion.
Yeah. Or like they should name the MVP of the NIT after Mark Titus.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
We'll just say that's what it is.
It was when we won the NIT, it was the weirdest feeling ever because we wanted to celebrate because like but it was almost we were almost celebrating not losing in the NIT,
right?
Because like the only thing more embarrassing than playing in the NIT is losing in the NIT.
Yes,
I mean,
so it was a very weird locker room because we were like technically happy, but it was not like a championship type locker room, you know.
They could have great ratings in the finals. What if it's Ohio State against Kentucky?
Ooh, yeah.
I like Kentucky.
Yeah.
I think Kentucky.
I honestly don't think Ohio State's good enough to make the NIT.
No, I don't think so
I think
either.
we're going to lose out the rest of the season.
And the way they've lost is just like every which way. I actually, we can jump off from here. I actually like Kentucky as like a long shot. Something about Cal's guys. This year, he's gone through it. He's legitimately on the hot seat.
Yeah.
But they are, I think, right now supposed to be like a 10 or 11 seed, the big win against Tennessee.
Yeah.
There's something about them when I watch them, I'm like, I could see how they could get hot. Like almost a, what is it, 2014 UConn? No. Yeah.
The 2014.
Yeah, the team that just didn't lose for the. Yeah. No, was that the
2014 Kentucky was like an 8 seed that went to the title game and lost to UConn. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it was, now I'm screwing up my years. It was the 20 whatever year UConn beat Butler.
That was 2010.
2010. The team that they literally won the entire Big
East
tournament.
You're talking about comparing them to UConn. I was thinking of other Kentucky teams.
Yeah. No, like where like they have really good players. They've had moments where they've looked terrible. They've had moments where they've looked good. And maybe they'll just be one of those teams that's like, hey, we get hot. Because we tried the 2 seed Kentucky last year with the National Player of the Year.
Yep.
Why not try the 10 or 11 seed with Cal on the hot seat? Shock the world.
The problem I have with Kentucky, I don't love their roster. Cason Wallace is awesome. I love him. I think Oscar Tshiebwe is. It's almost unfortunate that he came back because he was so likable and so good.
I know.
And I don't want to say he's like tarnished his legacy because that's way too. That only happens in the NBA. You can only tarnish your legacy in the NBA.
Hunter Dickinson's trying really hard right now.
All right, I stay correct. But like the magic isn't there with Oscar, and I think what's like he still plays super hard. He still is like a very likable guy off the court. He checks all those boxes. I just think like somewhere along the line, someone figured out that he sucks in ball screen defense, and like what if we made him move his feet a little bit, and it's sort of exposed Kentucky. But they have turned a corner. Severe Wheeler is no longer like running the point for them, which is kind of made them a different team. And I do think they're better than. If you haven't been paying a ton of attention, you would get lost in the idea that Kentucky sucks this year and Cal's on the hot seat and all that. They're good enough to win a couple games, but I don't know about they're not winning the national title.
I think it's they have like a couple crazy guards that are like will just be reckless.
Yeah,
and I like whenever I'm thinking of a long shot, I'm like, give me a couple guards that will just they'll throw their body at the basket and they'll just be like constantly fast breaking when there's not a fast break. That type of shit.
I do think there's something to it though that something about the jerseys, like the reasons we're so enamored with the Blue Bloods is because like in that locker room they feel like they're supposed to to win. And like when March comes around, I guess there's so many other examples. I mean, they literally just lost to a 15 seed last year, but like there is something weird about. I mean, I really think that if North Carolina's team last year was wearing different jerseys, they would not have gone to the national championship game.
I agree.
The expectation actually improves your game a little bit.
If they were wearing like a Mountain West jersey, they would have lost in the first round.
Would have. The exact same group of guys, exact same. Everything else is the exact same. It's just the laundry they're wearing is different.
With Tshiebwe, he's a really interesting guy, like off the court, fascinating guy. I was reading some stories about him, how he sometimes just like won't travel to a game because he gets a premonition. Right? He gets a premonition that he should not get on this plane because something bad is going to happen on the plane, and he listens to those premonitions. Yeah. So, like, it's really he's up for anything. Like, when it comes to tourney time, like, if he's getting if he wakes up and feels great, like he might go out there and drop 30.
Yeah.
But if he wakes up and he's like,
I think
feels like some danger is going to happen on the way.
Didn't he say like God told him something bad was coming last tournament?
Yeah.
And he thought
And St. Peter's.
He's right. Maybe he
Right.
does.
It
Maybe he
was
does
fucking-
talk to
Yeah.
God.
What's his name? Pete, whatever.
Yeah.
What was the guy's name? The guard.
Oh, Doug.
Doug.
Oh yeah.
Pete, not Pete.
Dougie Dirt.
Doug
Dougie
Eater.
Dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dougie Dirt.
I had an all-time, when you just have an interaction with someone and it just, you think about it forever after because you're like, damn, did I suck there? I met Oscar Shibwe when I was in Lexington for the Breeders' Cup, and he came up. It was the Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse, so the guy was like introducing him around, and I was like, oh man, what are you back for your 7th year? And he was just like, yeah, it's my 4th. Yeah. And I was just like, fuck, I really fucked that one up.
Well,
nice guy though.
It's because when you win National Player of the
I
Year,
know.
that guy usually doesn't come back.
Yeah. And I just walked away being like, what the fuck I don't even hate, I like him. Why did I say that?
My favorite story about him is that they played in, was it the Bahamas? They played a game outside the United States.
Right.
And for whatever reason with his visa, he's not allowed to get NIL money when he's
That's right,
inside
yeah.
the U.S. So he touched down on the airstrip, and he immediately took a call from his agent. He goes, where do you need me and how much?
Yeah.
And then he just spent he skipped practices.
Yeah.
And Coach Cal was like, I get it. He's sending money back home. This is an opportunity for him to cash in. We got to make sure that he can get paid in the U.S. That's messed
I
up.
agree.
Yes.
I don't know. I think that's above my head. I don't know who can
Talk
make
to
that
Tate
happen.
about
Yeah,
it.
I'll talk to-
Yeah. So,
But,
all right.
but it is a bummer. Just to put a bow on the Sheboy talk. Like the guy is the first national player to come back since Tyler Hansborough. And it is kind of a bummer that we're not talking about him more. I guess.
Right.
It's like you felt like coming into the year he was going to be a guy you talk about all season, and he's so likable. He's just kind of not been that.
The guy who stays a year too long is always a bummer. It's just like, damn. And I know obviously he probably wasn't going to be a NBA pro, but still, it's just like, fuck. He had a great year, but unfinished business. That's what you gotta say.
maybe it all like comes full circle and they
win
do
it
go
all.
to the final.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
do,
right. All right,
you know.
so the big story of this year in college basketball, as far as I can tell, is no one's good except the Big 12 and
Yeah.
maybe Alabama.
Yeah. That's pretty much. Yeah. It does feel like everybody kind of sucks. Which is it can be fun. I don't know. It's been. I go back and forth on whether or not like this has been a quote unquote good year of college basketball because I do think the parity is fun. Like my ideal season though is I don't want like 1 or 2 good teams. Like the year Gonzaga and Baylor were so much better than everybody else, and then they met in the title game. That was cool because they were 2 great teams, and we were just like all like edging, thinking like, what's gonna happen if they play? Oh my god! And then it happened, and then it was over like 5 minutes into the game, and Baylor run them off the court. That can be fun, but for me, I want like 5 or 6 good teams where you can start talking yourself into like a handful of different. Now, you're almost like you're trying to talk yourself into one team that could win it all.
Right, because every time there's a new number 1, they lose.
Yes. I think this year there's a record that was tied, and there's still enough season left that could be broken. The most times that the number 1 team in the country lost a game,
and it's
that they've given up the number 1 ranking. So.
Yeah, and it's I love college basketball, so I think it's been a fun year in the fact that it is wide open.
Yeah.
It's the most.
It'll
wide
be a
open.
fun tournament in that
Right.
regard. It won't be fun for a guy like me who might come back on PMT or do my
Mark
own show
Titus
on the
show.
Mark Titus show.
Subscribe on the YouTube.
breaking
otherwise
down
you're
the
a scumbag.
matchups.
Yeah, you're pretty busy Monday,
saying-
Wednesdays,
yeah,
and
Monday,
Fridays.
Wednesday, Friday. I don't know if I have time to
schedule that.
It will not be fun for a guy like me who the public turns to and says, make sense of all of this.
Right.
Who's going to win?
Give us the
I would
predictions,
say,
smart guy.
Yeah. If you're so smart, who's going to win the national championship?
Yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah.
I said Indiana to you, I think it was a month ago, and you're like,
Indiana. I was an Indiana fan before I was a fan of any other team in this world. I was a fan of the Indiana Hoosiers basketball team. So I would love for Indiana to be a national title caliber team again. I don't think they can win it all. I think they could get to the Final Four.
Yeah.
I think their guard play, Hood Schifino is awesome. He's going to be a first round pick this year. He's a freshman. He looks like there's one play every game in the last like 8 minutes that he will just do the dumbest shit you've ever seen. And then he usually follows it up immediately by hitting like a really tough shot with his hand in his face. But you're like, why would you? And they're waiting on Xavier Johnson to come back, I think he's a senior. I don't know, he's been around forever. They're waiting for him to get healthy, but the problem is he's just as erratic That's what worries me. Indiana also doesn't play awesome defense all the time, but they do have a little juice. There's like juice to the program in a way there hasn't been in a while. Which is exciting.
I feel like watching an Indiana game, if Trace Jackson Davis can get like 2 or 3 big dunks in the first half, they're going to win.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just pumped up.
Yeah.
And he does, like, he yams.
I was at the game against Purdue when they beat Purdue. Purdue is ranked number 1 in Assembly Hall. Have you been to a game at Assembly Hall?
No, I need to go. I've been to it.
Dude,
I've
it
visited, but I have never been to
a game. It was the perfect storm because Assembly Hall is it's always awesome, but it's at its absolute best when Indiana's like a 1 or 2 point underdog. Which I don't even know what the spread actually was in that game, but like there's a sense that like they're not supposed to win, quote unquote, but they're good enough to win. And that crowd just like that's where the worst Assembly Hall is when Indiana's favored by like 7.
Yeah.
And then everyone just has clenched buttholes like we're gonna fuck this up somehow. But when Indiana's like a slight dog and they're ranked like 18th and they're playing a top 5 team, that place is bonkers.
We gotta
Bonkers.
go. We gotta go there, and we should do a road trip next year. We should go there and a little bit farther away. But Fog Allen,
Fog Allen's awesome.
Yeah. And so leading into that, I mean, Kansas is probably, if you were sitting here right now, whatever day it is, February 21st, Kansas feels like the team. And it's crazy because they would go back-to-back with a completely different roster. I think I saw the stat. Like there's, I can't remember. Was there 4 teams that have gone back-to-back or 5 teams that have gone back-to-back? Florida, Duke, UCLA. Am I
Bill
missing
Russell,
one?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. And like all
Cincinnati,
of them,
maybe.
what do you, maybe.
I think Cincinnati.
All
whatever.
of them lost like 15% of their scoring.
Right.
Kansas lost 70% of their scoring from last year, and they're trying to go back to back.
But
like think about that Florida team. Everyone came back.
I know this, Dan. Thank you. That we lost
Oklahoma
it.
A&M.
Oklahoma
Of
A&M.
course,
Yeah,
yeah.
that Florida team, like that was
Kentucky.
crazy.
Cheated. They cheated. Literally cheated. They brought that will never happen again.
My
You win
old
a
man
national
take
title.
from that national title game has always been that it has to be 6 fouls in college basketball, because I remember being so hyped for that game, and Odin and Joakim got 2 fouls.
No, that was the game before.
Oh,
that was Roy Hibbert and Greg in the Final Four.
And
Yeah,
they
they both were in
like
foul
2
trouble
minutes
immediately.
in, it was just like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that should be illegal. If you win a national title, you can't bring back all 5 starters, right?
Well, they did.
That should be illegal.
That should be
That's
illegal,
messed
but
up.
unfortunately, it's
Fucked
legal.
up.
That Florida campus was insane at the time
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
But yeah, Kansas,
so
like, what they're doing
Kansas-
is crazy.
Yeah, so we're recording this right after Kansas played TCU.
Sorry
and
to
they're
Hank and PFT. I put them on that.
yeah, you love TCU. You love Eddie Lampkin.
Well, they're finally getting healthy.
Yeah, there's something to that. Yeah.
Right. And I
Max
was like,
Duggan
this
was
is
at
it.
the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got Grady Dicked. And I said to you before, there's something about Kansas players, Kansas white guys. If you put them on a Duke uniform, I'd hate their guts. But in a Kansas uniform, I'm like, I kind of like these
Scrappy.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of cool.
No, Grady. I mean, the guy has had to live with the name Grady Dick his whole life,
And that haircut.
yeah,
Well-
and he's still, I like Grady Dick a lot.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
awesome. He's a ton of fun to watch. Kansas, I think, I would say Kansas and Houston, as it stands right now, are the 2 that I believe the most in. Kansas, but like, if I'm being completely honest, the only reason I believe in Kansas is because they won it last year, the exact same way. Like, if you switch the teams. And I was watching this Kansas team having not won a national title. Like, Bill Self had not won the national title last year. I don't know how much I believe him. They get blown out at home by TCU.
Yeah.
Last year they got blown out at home by Kentucky. Bill Self basketball, for as long as I can remember, has always been like inside out. He's always had like a great post guy that he's dumped the ball down into, played through them. That's been like part of who he is. Last year, they abandoned that, and then David McCormick in the Final Four played out of his mind. I thought he should have won Most Outstanding Player. Not to take away from Agbaji, who was awesome, but also literally to take away from Agbaji. I would have given it to McCormick. But like he wasn't like the focal point of their offense. They were winning games by just like putting like Christian Brown and Agbaji and on the wing, just letting them run up and down and make plays. And it was like a huge departure from what Bill Self basketball had been to that point. But this year's team, it feels the exact same way. Like, it's a different roster, but it's the exact same feeling that you have watching Kansas last year, where it's like you're checking all the same boxes. I don't know how much I trust their bench. They had last year Remy Martin. They don't really have a Remy Martin this year, like the kid from Arizona State that wasn't really that good. And then suddenly in the Final Four or in March was
cool name.
Was playing out of his mind. So there's still like questions around Kansas, but I think you talk yourself into Kansas because what they did last year and like they're following the same recipe, but also their schedule's insane, and like every single night they're playing a team that is NCAA tournament caliber. That they're at some point they have like 14. I don't even know what the quads mean.
Yeah,
if I'm being completely honest.
There are 4 of them.
But when you tell me they have 14 quad wins,
It's the whole Big 12.
It's
the entire Big 12 is quad one.
Yeah, it's insane. So they're going to be battle tested in that regard. And
Going to get back to Mark Titus in a second. He's brought to you by Curve. Whether it's a new set of clubs, sweatshirt from the pro shop, or even a drink at the turn, those are all golf terms for all you guys that don't know like me. Whatever you're buying, if you're using a card for any purchase, big or small, you need Curve. Curve combines your entire wallet into a single card and app. With Curve, you upload your cards into the Curve app. Then, when you use Curve, you swipe and you indicate what card you want to use. Or you can assign your card for certain purchases with the Smart Rules feature. Maybe you want a specific card to cover anything over $100, while a different, more rewarding card to pay for groceries. It's just easy. You set it and you forget it. Curve also gives you additional cash back on top of any rewards that you're already earning on your other credit cards and debit cards. So make sure to go to curve.com/barstool, receive $20 in Curve cash. Once you download the app, open an account, and make a first transaction. That's curve.com/barstool. Get $20 in Curve cash. Terms and conditions apply. Here's more Mark Titus. So what about Houston? Houston feels like if we're playing the uniform game, if Houston was wearing a blue blood jersey,
sure,
the run that they've been on recently, we'd be talking about them a lot more.
I think Houston, Houston fans are not going to like this. They're not going to like this. I thought Houston should have been the preseason #1 team. I thought Houston has been the betting favorite all season. I think they should continue to be. They're the #1 team right now. I love Houston. But Houston as a program is sort of like the new Gonzaga, where they have gotten over the hump. They made a Final Four, so I don't mean in that regard.
Gonzaga's
I just
never made
mean
a Final Four.
The way you look at a Houston team at this point in the season is the way you would look at a Gonzaga team, where you're like, yes, they're beating the shit out of everyone. Yes, they have 2 losses or whatever it is, but I don't know about the schedule. Like, how much have they been playing? Gonzaga now, to their credit, is like Gonzaga's stepping up and playing everybody in the non-conference. Houston still really isn't.
South Florida. Temple's actually scrappy.
Temple beat them.
Yeah, I know. Temple's scrappy. My problem with
so
Houston,
I don't. But Houston is otherwise, like they have the combination of guard play, experienced guard play. They play great defense. They have an awesome coach. They have a 5-star in Jarris Walker, who's going to be a lottery pick, maybe a top 5 pick. They have like everything you would look for, and you'll love this. Maybe I've already talked to you about this. Jim Nance's last Final Four is this year. The Final Four is in Houston.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Jim Nance is an alum of the University of Houston. So connect those stars for me and tell me that's not like, there's not some destiny at play there.
And they rebound the fuck out of the ball. That's always my Houston.
Yes.
Like they're just gonna get, especially on those second tournament games or like Championship Sunday when it's like a brick fest and the game's played in the 50s. Houston wins because they just get so many extra shots.
The concerns would be like they play super slow, so they have sort of the Virginia concerns we had about Virginia, where like that's how they lost to Temple. They were just like we're fine. It's a close game. They're like we're fine, and then the last second like the ball bounces one way and Temple wins. They're like what the hell just happened?
Right.
So that's worrisome. Is that like Houston can be quote unquote dominating you and they're up by like 7, but they have like a stranglehold on the game because their defense, you can't score on their defense, but then suddenly you start throwing in bullshit and they get upset. I don't know.
This might be a dumb question. Has any team ever won the NCAA tournament in their home city?
Ooh.
It's like the NFL with the
Butler almost did in 2010.
That's right. That shot should have gone in.
Duke lost in 94, I remember, in Charlotte. To Arkansas, which is not anywhere close to the question you asked.
Same state.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question.
But I'm Googling it right now.
We're making history.
My problem,
UCLA maybe? Did they play one of those Final Fours?
Probably.
Back in the day?
Way back in the day. My biggest problem with Houston is Kelvin Sampson named his son Kellen Sampson, and I don't like that. That's confusing. And Kellen Sampson, his son, is like gonna be the next great head coach. Like he
looks exactly like him.
Like everyone talks about him like he's gonna be. But you can't just name your son Kelvin.
Yeah.
Why would you name him Kellen?
Yeah, it's a weird name.
You just like think you're screwed. Like
He just turned the V on its side.
I was reading an article about Kellen Sampson, and I was like, wait,
Is this a typo?
is his dad's name Kellen? I thought his dad's name was Kelvin, and then I had to go Google Kelvin Sampson. I was like, Houston Sampson, and I was like, wait, no, his name's Kelvin. So I don't like it. So they're out on my that immediately disqualifies.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna throw another school at you here, and Big Cat, cover your ears. I think I believe in Purdue.
Whoa.
I think I believe in. Wait, you didn't let me finish.
Okay.
I believe Purdue will win the national championship next year when Edie comes back for another season,
all right.
and he's 3 inches taller than he is right now.
I have gone on record as saying, first of all, I'm a Purdue booster, and I donate to the school that's true, that's a fact, every summer. So I wouldn't mind if Purdue won, but I've gone on record saying I'm willing to cheer for Purdue to win a national championship for the Big Ten as much as
I would too.
as
it will
much.
hurt me.
We've gotten to that point as a
Yeah,
conference.
no, it's desperation.
like I
time.
absolutely hate the SEC football fans that cheer for the SEC.
Yeah.
But
You
at
have
a certain
to erase
point,
it. Yeah.
at a certain point, when the wars come to your doorstep, you have to take arms, Dan.
Do you know
you
what,
have to.
Do you know how dark it's gotten? So not only am I like, yeah, I guess if Purdue won, then we could stop with the jokes about the Big Ten not winning since Mateen Cleaves. Although I count Maryland 2000.
I count Kansas last year. I think we're getting Kansas
Yeah.
at some point.
Also, if Gonzaga had won, I would have counted them because Jalen Suggs is from Minnesota. But it's getting so bad. I'm like, is Northwestern frisky? Like that's how bad it's getting.
It's Northwestern.
Yeah, I'm asking myself that. That's rock bottom.
So Purdue, when you talk about like boxes to check, in a national championship, in a national champion, I would say Purdue checks 0 of them. I would say there are 0 boxes that Purdue checks.
Can we make a new box?
But
I have a
I
box
say
for
that
you.
affectionately. Like I part of me wants them to win because I think it'd be cool to make a new box. I think it'd be cool to be like, actually, we're everything we thought we knew about college basketball and March Madness, we were wrong about.
Can we just do
You
that?
actually can win with 2 freshman guards and a coach that's never been to a Final Four, even though he's been coaching for 30 years, and a big dude that's 7'4".
Yeah, and a 7'4" guy that
Yeah.
if he gets 2 fouls, you're out.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing with Purdue. If Zach Edey gets 2 fouls 5 minutes into any tournament game, it's over.
Yeah. I genuinely, I mean, I'm laughing, but like I genuinely think that would be cool. That's part of what I love about college basketball is that Tony Bennett was playing a style of basketball that could never work. It can't work. You can't walk the ball off the floor. You can't play that kind of defense. You'll never win anything. That's why you lost to a 16 seed, and then you won a national championship, and you're like, all right, well, maybe it can work.
Yeah.
Maybe now, like moving forward, it can work.
I have a box for you. This was a tweet from Bob Ryan.
Bonk? Is that a bonk?
Oh, that's a bonk for you, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, put him on the list. This is a tweet from Bob Ryan. It was like 3 days ago. I'm watching Purdue's 7'4" Zach Edey play quality big man basketball for the 4th or 5th time. And if it's true there's no longer a place in the NBA for him, I'm officially disgusted with the hostile takeover of the 3, which has distorted basketball at every level.
Yep.
I love that take so much for a couple reasons. One, if you've watched Zach Edey play for 4 or 5 times, great college basketball player. At no point are you like, this guy's going to be awesome in the NBA.
Yeah.
And second, he says that as I think the top 3 in the MVP right now are Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they don't play like traditional back to the basket, but those are 3 big men.
Yeah.
Jokic is going to win his 3rd MVP. He's a big man and a very skilled one.
I'm scared to say too much because I feel like I am. I feel like being the old man yelling at the cloud comes for all of us. But it feels like it comes for all of us. So I'm not saying I agree with Bob Ryan. I'm saying
No, there's a part of him.
I'm saying I know I'm well on my way to becoming that. So I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to shit all over this guy because when I watch basketball now, my mind starts going a lot of places that like a Bob Ryan goes. Like I'm not trying to get rid of the 3-point line, but I do miss the days when guys like me who could shoot were specialists. Like if I was if I was on my AAU team now, I would be kicked off the team because like Greg Oden would be shooting threes. You know what I mean? And like that, and like what would my role be on this team? They'd be like, you don't have a role, get off the team, and then I wouldn't be sitting in front of you guys now. You know?
If you are afraid of being a hypocrite, you picked the wrong company to work.
Listen,
Just
we
call it right
embrace
there.
Yeah.
Zach Edey, I think when we watched Zach Edey live against Wisconsin last year, and remember when you won the Big Ten championship game?
Yep.
Co-title. Remember that? Co-title?
Yeah, that's fine.
We were watching him play.
Flags fly forever.
Watching him move his feet and pivot. I think we said that he looks like he's controlled by somebody that like lives inside his body that's pulling levers, telling his feet
He's
to
gotten
move.
better.
He's gotten a little bit smoother,
better,
right?
He's gotten better. He's gotten smoother. To his credit, I do feel bad for him in the sense that like people do rip on him for just he's not good, he's big. Like that's like, kind of become a meme, and certainly in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The guy's good. Like he's very talented.
He
He's skilled. He can pass out of double teams. Like that's the reason Purdue's good. You know how many? There have been a ton of. I was just talking to Kinjack as I was sitting next to him before he came in here about. He's like, who's the guy on Asheville that Tyler Hansbrough dunked on? That was 7'7". Kenny George was the kid's name. 7'7". Do you remember that? The play where Hansbrough took 4 steps.
Yes.
And
just
yammed on him.
Yeah.
But that's an example of a guy that's just big, you know, like that. Like there's a reason that Zach Edey that guy was never up for. Isaac Haas is like the exact
he's
same
better
size
than Isaac Haas.
as Zach Edey.
Yes.
Isaac Haas was never a National Player of the Year contender.
I also
because Zach Edey's good is what I'm saying. But you know
he has one thing going for him, and this is a storyline thing because more than anything with March Madness, you need the storyline. I don't know why, because usually I have Purdue on one of the bottom TVs, so I don't have sound on. They just love showing his mom. They love showing his mom. It's constant.
You need something
it's like, there's Zach Edey's mom.
Yeah.
Like, well, okay.
And
sure. I don't know what
the
the story is. Is there a story behind it?
I don't know. He came out of her, I guess.
She
gave birth.
I think she's Asian. I don't know. I think they just show her constantly. And it's just like, okay.
In the hockey picture too, like when he was playing hockey at age 15 or whatever.
Yeah. I will say in your defense, I think everyone who's maybe older than 30, and it does come for everyone. You watch a basketball game and you do find yourself saying, like, "Can we get some post touches?
Yeah,
Can we get a post touch here, please?"
If I can be serious for a second, there is an element. The evolution of basketball has gotten to a point where I kind of don't recognize the game that I was taught growing up, and like I fell in love with basketball. Because there was like certain fundamental truths of like how you play the game, and like being tall was supposed to. That's where like Bob Ryan's coming from. Is like the best player of all time was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then Jordan comes along and makes people question things. But like that was Bill Walton and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and like these dudes at Shaq and all these big dudes dominate basketball. So then there are ways you're taught the game. If you're not that big, this is how you find success in the game, and basically all that has been blown open.
Yeah.
To now like. I get put in a position, I'm going to be put in this position here in 6 or 7 weeks where I have to cover the NBA playoffs, and everyone comes to me and asks me, like, what do I think of, like, this team? And I'm honest to God, like, there are times where I watch the NBA and I'm like, I don't even recognize what the fuck this sport is. And I'm not saying it's worse, better, anything else. Like, some people argue. Yeah.
In terms of skill.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not trying to, I don't want JJ Redick knocking on my door saying, let's fight about this. I'm not interested in that. I'm just saying, like, the game that I was taught, it does not, it doesn't look like the game, and that'll fuck you up at a certain point. And I add like 60 years, and now I'm Bob Ryan's age. Like, I can't imagine where I'm going to be sitting. Like,
thanks, Steph Curry.
Yeah. What's going to happen in another like 40 years?
That's what I mean.
The pendulum going to swing back?
There's going to be a 4-point line.
If there was no 3-point line at all, would Steph Curry still be like an all-time great?
Ooh, that's a great question.
If his deep shots counted as 2.
I think he would be like he'd still be a Hall of Famer, but not like an all-time GOAT level type player.
I mean, did you see that?
I would say that would be that's my
hunch.
Gimmick.
You're saying he's
Did you see that tweet the other day? It's like, I think there's a new format on Twitter. I don't know what Elon's doing, but it's like the long format, and it basically listed, it was career 7 3-pointers made in your games you've played. 7 3-pointers made, and it was like Steph Curry 140, and then it was just a list of all the other games, and then it got all the way down to like 22. It was like Ray Allen. It was like, this is
It's
fucking
insane.
insane.
Dude,
It's
Steve,
insane.
Steve Kerr was an awesome shooter
Yeah.
growing up.
Yeah.
It's like Steve Kerr makes this offense complete.
Right.
You have to have that guy on your team.
Right.
Now Steve Kerr would never even
Never
he wouldn't
No.
smell
yeah,
the
he
court.
wouldn't
No.
smell like court. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I like I said, some people think it's better. Some people think it's worse. I go back, like, because I don't know. That's ultimately why I think I gravitate to college basketball, is just sheer laziness out of my part. That, like, college basketball more closely resembles a game that I was taught, where a bunch of different contrasting styles can work. And but yeah, so I don't want to rip on Bob Ryan too much, because I read that too, and I was like, I'm willing to listen to his argument. I'm willing to hear him out.
When people do the college basketball versus NBA thing, because I love basketball, so it's like, no, I love watching the NBA, but I just know that I don't really, like, the games don't really start mattering until the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, that's when, usually the first round, you'll see all the lower seeds lose.
Yeah.
Like, in college basketball, it's a inferior product in terms of, like, if you watch side by side the shot making of college basketball versus NBA, it's fucking stupid.
Yes.
It's not the same sport. But January and February, the games are intense, the crowds are awesome, and March Madness is the best tournament we
There's
have.
some, I mean, like, there is something to be said about, if I tell you two teams are playing in mid-January, pick any time of the season, you'll know going in that everybody who is healthy is going to be playing.
Right.
There's nobody's going to be sitting out, and every single person on that takes the court is going to, or at least there is an understanding that they are going to be busting their ass, doing everything they can to win this game tonight. And I
Right.
think, like, taking those two things into consideration is something I never thought you'd have to do with basketball.
Right.
And that's become very frustrating.
Right.
I don't know what games count in the NBA. I have no idea what games matter. Like, I'll look up I remember when the Thunder smoked the Celtics not that long ago, and they didn't have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and they hung 150 on the Celtics. And
Right.
I was like, so if that happens in college, you're like, oh shit, I guess the Celtics can't win the NBA title.
It means
Right.
something.
It means that
It
they're
means nothing.
frauds.
Right.
And
Well,
the
the
NBA,
next-
it means nothing.
The next 23 games mean something for LeBron.
Yeah.
Those 23 most important games. Do you accept him as a Buckeye?
It depends on whether his son commits to Ohio State.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
That's where I'm.
You've
That's
got
where
the
I'm
upper
landing.
hand in this
So right
relationship.
now, Bronny, if you're listening, LeBron, if you're listening, your Buckeyes, come home. We love you.
Uh-huh.
Come. What if? Like LeBron. If LeBron put out a statement that said, "I want my son to play basketball, to play college basketball at home," how many schools are going to be like, "Fuck yes, that's us"?
Yeah, it's
Like
us.
Miami is going to say that. UCLA is going to say that. Akron's going to say that. Ohio State's going to
Yeah.
say that.
Northwestern might even say it for that one summer.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron's coming to the Bulls.
What about this take? November, December, January, Collins, March.
Ooh.
You know who had that take? I'll give you one guess.
Yeah.
We don't say his name. We don't say his name on the show anymore.
Yeah.
But Northwestern, Frisky,
No.
you actually believe, like, Northwestern? I have them in my could make some noise bucket.
Yeah, can we talk about this? Because I was thinking, what are the differences, do you guys, between making some noise, a team that can make some noise, a team that's dangerous? Are they the same thing? And then a team with that's going to be a tough out. Like, where do we? I have my theories, but I'm curious what you guys think
A
about
tough
that.
out is a 14 seed that takes it to overtime.
And plays a lot of defense and slows, like, there's only going to be 60 possessions in the game.
Yeah. St.
Like
Mary's
that.
to me is the perfect tough
Tough
out.
out, yep.
That's a tough out team. Like, I think it's like a low ceiling, but
Iowa State plays a little more offense than they did last year. They're a
yeah,
tough out.
tough out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they're going to
And
be
then
like,
I
all
think
right.
I think a dangerous team is the team that has all the talent in the world but hasn't quite put it fully. Like, in Illinois comes to mind as a dangerous team.
Yep.
You want no part of Illinois,
Right, because you don't know what to expect.
Because you don't know. They don't know what to expect.
Right.
Nobody knows what to
Right,
expect.
right. Michigan State might be in there.
Michigan's like the whole Big Ten.
Right, yeah,
it's the
that
whole
is
Big
true.
Ten. So yeah, throw Northwestern in there.
And then
Northwestern
I would
makes some
say-
noise. I just love the name Boo Booey.
Boo
yeah,
Boo is a
It's
good
just
name.
fun
Boo
to
Boo's a
say.
great name.
He seems like a name that would get a lot of run in
Yeah.
the NCAA tournament.
Northwestern has this is the best Northwestern team ever. I feel comfortable saying
Well,
that. I mean, the 1930.
That's this would be the second time they've ever made the tournament.
I think the 1931 team was pretty good though.
This is
In
entirely
fairness to
too
them.
much Northwestern talk.
Wait, I have a
Fairness to Bob Ryan's chiming in saying that what I want to say.
I have a hypothetical for you. Oh wait, last thing on the I think Make Some Noise is a team that has one star. And
Yeah.
it's like Ja Morant was a Make Some Noise team.
Yeah,
Where it's
yeah.
like, if this guy does this,
Yeah.
they could go deep. Our guy Jelly Walker, UAB.
Yeah,
that's a make some noise team. Like you could see them going to the Sweet 16.
Does it have to be a smaller school though?
No,
Northwestern counts as a smaller school in this context.
It does.
I think,
I think a school from a major conference that's like a 6 to 8 seed, if they win, that third round game, that's what makes some noise.
But I think they can't be a team that goes to the tournament often. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a Georgia Tech, if they were they would be a make some noise team if they were good enough. Like one of those type
Florida
of
Gulf Coast was a great make some noise.
Yeah,
they made a lot of fucking noise.
They made a shitload of noise. A shitload of noise.
Tongue City.
Yeah, but you couldn't say if Duke was an 8 seed, you couldn't say they could make some noise.
No,
they're dangerous.
Right.
At that point, you're dangerous.
Yeah,
Duke is dangerous.
They're rounding into
Yes,
form.
yes.
Yeah, they're getting hot at the right time. I had one last hypothetical. Then we're going to shift to the Mark Titus Show
Ooh, all right.
on the YouTube. So we're going to go to the other studio with your art, which I can't wait to see. It was actually funny because when Titus signed all the paperwork, and I was like, he's like, what do I do next? I was like, good news. Barstool has 400 employees now. So I was like, I put him on an email with 5 different people. I was like, can you guys do the stuff for them? And they did the stuff.
It was crazy.
They were like, yeah, just make the YouTube and do all that. Because I would have the same reaction as you. It's like, what do I do now?
I took a meeting this morning about my YouTube banner page and what I thought about it, and I was like, Frank, I don't know. I have no thoughts. I have zero thoughts.
Yeah, zero
this
thoughts.
Is crazy that we have all these resources.
All right, so here's my
anyway.
hypothetical, and then we're going to talk some Duke when we go onto the Mark Titus YouTube page. You can find him on all the social Mark Titus Show. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube. Do it. I want to see that at least 10K in 2 days.
Please.
So do it. Just do it. All right? Hypothetical. Back to LeBron real quick. I've always wondered this. If LeBron had committed to Akron, how deep would they have gone in the tournament? 18-year-old LeBron.
We're just I don't remember their roster, so we're just going off like a replacement level Akron team.
Say they're third in the MAC.
I mean,
how sick would that have been?
He's pretty fucking good now.
I know.
I know. This guy can play some basketball.
And I always just think about how cool it would be if one of those type of guys was I'm gonna go. It's actually we get the junkyard version of this with Imani Bates at Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, I think they definitely would have been good enough to make a Final Four. He's that good. That would have been so. Could
fun
they
to watch.
have won a national title? I honestly, man, he if there's one player, it's him. We can do the GOAT debate on the Mark when we shift over to my studio. But we're not doing a Jordan LeBron thing, but the GOAT 18-year-old was definitely LeBron.
Well,
or Kareem.
Well, wait, what about this?
No, this hypothetical is funny because MJ did win a title when he was.
No, he was 18.
Yeah, but at North Carolina.
Yeah, but no.
What if
not at Akron? Yeah,
what if
you're not at Akron?
The real GOAT 18-year-old
with Hall of Famer James Worthy
wasn't that good.
What if you put Wembayama on Georgetown?
Right now,
how good is Georgetown?
Do they win
Honestly,
more than 3 Big East games?
As I'm thinking through these hypotheticals, I'm just picturing is Ted Valentine on the call for the game? Because if Ted Valentine is reffing a LeBron James Final Four game on Akron and going into say it's last year's Final Four, very blue blood heavy, but instead of I don't know, Villanova's out and put Akron and LeBron in. And all the talk going into it is about LeBron and this darling Akron team. And is this kid the greatest 18-year-old we've ever seen? And they only lost one game all year and it was on the last second, whatever the situation is. If Ted Valentine is reffing that game, he will 100% find a way to steal the show and punish LeBron for
being great.
The fuck you think you are, dude? Yeah. So I don't know. That's something you actually have to consider when thinking through college basketball.
Yeah.
Which,
okay, so Mark Titus, now a colleague, couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't change anything, man. I hope.
What would it change?
I don't know. What does this mean for my PMT legacy? I don't know. Does this
it's over?
I think.
Is that it? Is it done?
I think
That's what I'm asking.
done.
Do we have to?
Oh. Yeah, I think you'll probably break the record for most recurring guest. I think Whitney has it.
Well, you did get suspended for that 1 year.
Yeah, for the things you said.
No, I didn't know if you were having me on because this was all part of the flirtatious recruiting period, and now that you got me, you're like, fuck that guy. We're never
I want you on all
back
March Madness. No, it is PFT's right though. The fact that like, I'm very happy you're here, but we really were your only last option after the things you said. Like, there was nowhere else you could go.
You know what?
Barstool
It was
Thank you.
Newsmax or Barstool Sports.
I looked at the landscape, and I was have you guys seen Full Swing on Netflix? Have
Yeah,
you
I
watched
started
that?
it.
You started
Yeah.
it?
I haven't
You
started
saw
yet,
the
but I
Brooks
will.
episode?
Yeah, it broke my heart.
I know. That's how I feel. It's like I got to a point. Robbie Hummel is my Scotty Scheffler, where I was like, I got to be honest. I thought I had like a stranglehold on like mainstream college basketball coverage, but I can't compete with this fucking guy. He's on every broadcast. He's somehow like working for every network. He works for ESPN, but then like Fox owns Big Ten Network, and this man's on Big Ten Network. How do I compete with that?
And he's winning 3-on-3 championships.
He's a better player than I am.
Yeah.
I can't compete with this. I need to join the Live Tour.
You were less
And
injured.
then I got Dave on the phone, and,
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
That's Saudi
This is my
money
Live
going.
Tour.
But it's going to be awesome. It's a great addition for the Chicago office. You are going to probably kill us in basketball. We're going to watch PFT get wet.
So wet.
So everyone get excited. Go subscribe to the Mark Titus
Please.
YouTube page. Part 2 of this discussion will be on his page on Thursday.
And we're talking about Duke, right?
We're
gonna
talking
talk
about,
about
we
some
got
Duke.
some thought, and
Let's
I also
go.
want to talk about Alabama.
Titus is brought to you by Pringles. Have you ever reached into a Pringles can for that last crisp and you get your hand stuck? Well, the good news is you're not alone. It happens to me all the time. Getting stuck in a Pringles can happens to the best of us. It happens to aerospace engineers, karate senseis, hand models, tennis pros, and mimes. Every one of them was willing to risk getting their hand stuck in a Pringles can forever just to get that last crisp. And you know what? They're doing just fine. From original to barbecue to sour cream and onion, it's flavor worth getting your hand stuck in a can for. Pringles. Get stuck in. Stock up on Pringles to experience the worth it risk for yourself. Visit Pringles.com.
All right, let's wrap up. Some guys on chicks. Also get excited because the Mark Titus Show is out on Thursday, the new YouTube. It's going to be, go subscribe. We need everyone to subscribe to the Mark Titus Show on YouTube. We will actually be streaming some college basketball tonight from the Gambling Cave on the Mark Titus YouTube. So go watch it and go subscribe. Guys on chicks.
Hello, Mr. Commenter, Senor Cat, Billy Feetball, and Cake Marsh. My boyfriend of 5 years is always making comments about himself putting objects in his butt. Last night, we were laying in bed watching TV and we couldn't find the remote. My boyfriend said, "Oh, gee, I hope I didn't shove it up my ass." We flipped pillows and blankets over and eventually found it. But when he found it, he then pretended to shove the TV remote up his butt while making grimacing sounds and expressions. He makes comments like this every day, multiple times a day. He tells me he doesn't want me anywhere near his butthole during sexy time, but this is his way of telling me he wants to do that stuff, ? Does he want me to peg him, or is this just normal guy humor?
Yeah.
Thank you, longtime listener.
Peg.
I think he's putting feelers out there, so you should put a feeler out there. Maybe next time you're getting warmed up, just slip like a finger. And because it sounds like he's not wanting to ask for it, but if it happened, he would be down for it.
Yeah, you got to test the waters because he's definitely giving you the hints. I'd say more than enough hints.
Yeah.
Also, shout out that guy who created an account who just replies to everyone's tweets saying, "This person gets pegged."
Yeah.
That's I don't know. You've seen it?
I've seen it. I've seen
I
it several
muted him.
times. Yeah.
The funniest part about that guy's account, because like every now and then there'll be someone who pops up who's just like, "This is gonna be my lane. I'm just gonna pick it. I'm just gonna reply to everyone's tweets at Barstool and say this person gets pegged." The only person who like got upset was Elio, who was like, "Why are they saying I'm getting pegged?" So I appreciated that. But yeah, shout out that guy.
Yeah, if he's bringing it up a lot, I think it means he's at least curious, but he's shy.
It might actually be the Twitter account I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sup, fellas? My boyfriend and I moved in together. Like a typical guy, his two biggest passions in life are sports and video games. Recently, he's fallen back in love with Pokemon, saying, "It reminds me of simpler times." He spends 2 to 3 hours a day hunting on Pokemon Go, brings his Nintendo Switch to bed, and plays the new Pokemon Scarlet, and when we have sex, as he's getting ready to come, he sometimes says Pika Pika, followed by Choo, right as he comes.
Giant missed opportunity to say Squirtle.
Yep.
How do I tell him that he's taken video games a bit too far and we need to get back to normal life? Thanks.
I don't think a guy can take video games too far. Let guys play video games.
Yeah, the Pokemon thing is one thing that I missed.
I did too. We're too old.
We tried to get into the Pokemon Go where you remember when the Chinese government had you spy on your own living rooms?
And it was very funny too, watching people like walk around in a park with their phones out, just like tripping over themselves.
Yeah. But
One of my friends still plays it religiously.
Really?
It's hilarious. We'll just be somewhere and he'll pull it out. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm hunting.
I would love
Shout out to Aaron.
I would love to interview those people. Like, there's some people out there who are just crushing Farmville still.
oh yeah.
Like, I would like to talk to those people.
People play on the train. People play like Candy Crush all the time.
Yeah.
Like there's some hardcore gamers on the train. I'm like, I never got into Candy Crush.
Angry Birds, people still doing that?
I've thought about buying a Nokia burner just so I could play Snake again.
Yeah.
That
Brick
was
Breaker.
the best. Oh, Brick Breaker. Holy shit. Brick Breaker, I spent so much time playing Brick Breaker. And then it sucks because you beat it and then you just go back to level 1 just faster.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I wasted all this time.
Yeah, let him play video games.
Let the boys play video games.
Nothing wrong with that. As long as he's not taking his phone out and actually finding a Pokemon while you guys are having sex.
Yeah.
Like, is Charmander
That's
on
kinda
your
kinky,
nipple?
though. That's kind of kinky.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's a classic one. What's up, almost father of 3 cats, short king PFT, and handsome Hank? Should I be concerned about my boyfriend of 3 months going on his spring break trip to Florida with his fraternity brothers alongside a sorority that I did not get into?
Oh,
Furthermore, he has
no.
history with some of those girls, and I don't trust them. Thanks, PFT guys.
No, this sounds fine. You trust him, right? Sounds like you really trust him.
3 months, yeah. I mean, that's a lifetime of trust to build up.
You've been dating for 3 months. He's going to Florida, probably Panama City Beach, I would imagine, with a sorority you didn't get into with girls that he's slept with before.
This is one of those questions, like, don't ask a question if you don't want the answer. You know what I'm saying?
Get him tested when he gets back.
Yeah. Whew. Put a Apple tag on him.
Yeah.
See where he's going. Is that it?
No, I got some more.
Okay.
These are long ones. I usually try to sift through the short ones, and they're all just long.
Next Wednesday, should we do Chicago FAQs?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll do that, so everyone get your questions in.
Hey, PMT gang. I've been dating my boyfriend for 4 years, and he's a big fan of Part of My Take, and for some reason, an especially big fan of Hank.
That's mean.
That's you just randomly picked this?
No, I told you I didn't read these. I can't pre-read the long ones. That's too much reading. Now I wish I did. He is such a Hank fan. He swore he would not have sex with me until. All right, yeah. He is such a Hank fan. He swore he would not have sex with me until Hank gets the lottery ball correct. Ha ha ha. For the love of God, can you please get a rig for Hank to get the lottery ball? Because he clearly will never get it on his own. So this is just a lie.
This is like Chirac.
This is just a bunch of lies.
Oh man.
I'm not even gonna finish that.
Yeah.
You
They're never having sex.
That's a guy. No, that's a guy that wrote that question.
You think so?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
No.
It's guys on chicks.
Yeah.
At this point, you should just encourage him to enter the priesthood.
I'm gonna have Meme send me the full one.
Last
Yeah,
one.
no, he said, can you get the box? He'll clearly never get on his own, so I can get laid for the first time in 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. You're never getting laid. You're probably a virgin. How do
That
you...
doesn't mean you won't. I mean, he's a virgin, but you're not going to get the ball.
How do you bonkable boys? Recently, my boyfriend of 7... Like, these are all so long. Recently, my boyfriend of 7 years and I were visiting my family and stayed at my mom's for a couple nights. On our last night, I woke up to what I presume was my boyfriend pounding his meat. I didn't see it with my own eyes, but it sounded like the man was going at it. I tried turning in bed to make it obvious that I was awake and hearing what was happening, but he didn't stop. This proceeded for what felt like a very long time, but I don't think he ever finished. I heard a few "God damn it's" during the event, but no solid conclusion. The next morning, I asked him how he slept, and he said, "Not great." I said, "Duh, you were jagging off all night." He said he had no recollection of this and looked at me like I had 3 heads. My question is, what is weirder? The fact that he couldn't recall masturbating at all, or that he didn't finish? P.S. He will 100% hear this because we are both huge AWLs. Love you guys.
Probably the jacking off part.
Yeah.
It's probably the weirdest.
Yeah, that's probably. I would say that's the weirdest.
Not finishing.
Well, sometimes you're drunk.
Yeah.
It happens to everyone. Sometimes you don't finish.
Jacking off in a bed
When
next to
you're
somebody
jacking off,
is
though.
just bad manners.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm just asking a question.
Unless he asks you to join in.
Yeah, you should probably go to the bathroom. All right. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I also not finishing, whiskey dick. Like that.
That's
Whiskey
in
dick
the-
kind
in
of
the-
rules.
No, but, like,
Wait, if
in-
we're being honest, like you fuck like a porn star.
Yeah, nature's Roman swipes.
Yeah, it's like it like everyone's like, oh, whiskey dick. Like I don't know, it's kind of cool. Like I felt like I lasted forever,
That happens, but like,
and I
if
did
you're-
because I never came.
If you're just doing it to yourself, like, how do you not finish?
Well, I think the whiskey dick.
Sounds like he was drunk and he passed out. He gave up.
Yeah, he probably lost the memory
That's
in his
a-
head that he was jerking off.
That's
to.
actually a big
They were
concern.
staying at her mom's house.
It sounds like he
How
just
drunk can you be?
What if he was sleep jerk like
Oh,
in his sleep?
now
and
that
Sleep,
like
pounding his
sleepwalking,
meat?
Oh.
but like jerking off.
that actually probably is more likely than the blacked out. Yeah, what a wild thing to have
I
happen.
don't
to
think
you.
I've ever sleep
Like
jacked
that happened
it.
to Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah,
I mean, how would you know?
that's a good point.
Because he said he didn't recollect it at all.
But
Well, yeah,
isn't
but
that
like if
So-
you get caught, you're gonna be like, "What are you talking about?"
yeah? That's exactly what you would say.
But it looked like
Really,
he.
saying that you were asleep is the best defense against anything.
Yeah, by far. Nate Oats should have said he was asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, this is the last fucking essay.
you got this, Hank.
Hi, Dad Cat, Loser Hank, Fuck the Eagles Max, PF Wee, and Billy Boy. 3.5 years ago, I went out with some girlfriends, and one of them brought a couple of guy friends along. Well, we ended up drinking a lot, and me and one of the guys ended up going back to my place.
Hot.
Nice.
It was a one-night
It's
stand,
such a classic.
but we followed each other on Instagram and added each other on Snapchat. Classic. Fast forward several years, and here's my dilemma. I'm a nurse, as well as the guy that I hooked up with. They're both nurses.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also have a boyfriend of 3 years now.
Guys can be nurses
who is
too, Hank.
also a nurse. Oh, this is like Grey's Anatomy.
The doctor is the mother, Hank.
This is a Grey's Anatomy plot. Coincidentally, my boyfriend and this random hookup have ended up working on the same unit together. Now they have become really good friends.
Oh.
Now my boyfriend has demanded that we go on a double date with my old hookup and his
Oh.
current girlfriend.
Hot.
How do I go about managing this situation? Do I tell my boyfriend what happened or act like I've never seen him before? Thanks, guys. Much love. They're gonna the hookup and her are ending up together. Is this a
Oh,
tale
you
as old
think
as
so?
time?
Is that the plot?
This is a tale as old as time.
I was gonna say you can't say anything about it if you're a nurse. You took the Hippocratic oath,
Yeah,
right?
true.
First, do no harm. You're not allowed to say that's doctor or nurse patient confidentiality.
You need to go up to the hookup and be like, we're not talking about it, right? Because that's the only thing that could blow up. If he's talking about it and you're not talking about it.
I think Hank's right though. I think having that conversation will lead to
Right.
a DM, which will lead to a text, which
Yeah.
will lead to
hot. Back to
working late shifts together.
hot. Yeah.
There's all those
Late
beds around in the
shift-
hospital.
Late shifts.
The IV's just dripping.
Overnight shifts.
Yeah, heart rate just going up.
All right. Good guys on chicks. So yeah, next Wednesday we will do Chicago FAQs. You got questions about the office move, and no, you can't get a job right away. That will be how many? How many think?
It's 5 figures.
Five figs.
If you ask,
Mid 5 figs.
we're
Yeah, you're out.
blacklisting your name.
Yeah, yeah. If you ask, you're blacklisted. All right, Hank, have you ever gotten this?
What?
The lottery ball?
Oh, no.
Really?
99.
17.
Numbers.
99.
17? 99?
99.
I'll do 69. I also, this is an experiment. This doesn't count as me. My son picked 5 today.
Okay.
I want to see if he gets it before Hank. Could you imagine? Fucking 3.5-year-old.
20.
Oh, imagine if he gets it before you.
Interesting you didn't ask your daughter.
Well, she doesn't. She can't count.
You got Drew
yet.
Brees
She
over
can't
here.
count yet, so fuck you. $88.
Oh, that looked good.
88.
Second
Patrick
time it's
Kane.
been 2 numbers.
What?
It was 44, now it's 88. Next time it'll be...
Can you do the math?
Love you guys.
176.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you-
Yeah.
no, you-
No, 172. No, wait. Yeah, 176.
Yeah, Hank.
Animal fact?
So the regal horned lizard has a gross way of repelling attackers.